Greetings, my friendly peeps. I am JTG coming at you today from Patrick's Point State Beach Campground in Northern California, on the coast obviously. It's Monday, August 27, 2017. And this is the last day of the journey with me and Joel on the Great Eclipse travel log camp out. We had quite an adventure yesterday, and so I'm going to start where it ended, here in this campsite. Now, Joel had reserved this campsite, campsite 99, months and months ago. He's been to this campsite and he picked it out specifically because it looked like it was the best one, and it's a pretty good campsite. So we pulled in, maybe an hour and a half or so before sunset, so we'd be able to see this, set up and see the sunset, and there was already a car parked here. And we double checked the paperwork, campsite 99. We looked at the tag out front, it said reserved Kenyan. There was a car here, there was a tent here, there was stuff all over the table, food, and so where were they? And so we went to the front, and initially I think we got really poor service from the guy up front, who tried to get a hold of the camp host and said, oh, you got to go find him. He didn't seem all that concerned about it. So we drove back over here, and Joel dropped me off at the campsite. I said I'll wait here and try to tell them to leave if they show up. And so Joel took off, and eventually, I guess he found, after a lot of searching, he found the campsite host. And the host came over here. The host seemed really confused. He kept referring to me as Kenyan. I kept saying, I'm not Kenyan, I'm with Kenyan. He couldn't seem to keep it straight that I told him like 4 or 5 times, none of this stuff in this campsite is mine. And yet he kept saying, is that your car? Is that your tent? Is that your stuff on the tent? Finally I said, what part of none of this is mine do you not understand? Why is that so difficult to understand? And he called the ranger, and then the ranger shows up. And initially the ranger was confused too, because he started talking to us as though we were the ones in the violation. I said, no, we're not the perpetrators, we're the victim here. And so he tells us we could take another campsite. At first he says, okay, you guys got to go back to the front gate and re-register. And I'm saying, wait a minute, we have to go re-register, take another, half hour of our time to go to the front gate and re-register? He says, what do you want to do? Tell us where there's an open site and we'll go there, and you take care of the paperwork. He said, okay. And none of the sites on the map seemed to be all that good. Certainly nothing compared to this one. But the rangers kept talking about this one site, I believe 87, kept talking, oh, that's like one of the best in the whole site. And so I said, okay, we'll take that. And so we drove over there, and he parked here waiting for the people to come back, whoever they were. They had a Canadian license plate from Alberta. And we went over, and basically I saw immediately that the campsite sucked big time. It was like on the corner, and every car that drives by, their lights would be shining all night in our faces. And there was a place behind some trees, but it was uneven and rocky and covered with pine cones, and would not have been a very comfortable place to sleep either. But we decided we were going to go to the day area where we were told the best sunset views were, and I took some pictures there. And apparently the people had come back, because this is the area with a good sunset is right near this campsite, it's 99. The people had come back. The ranger had told him to leave. Now, I was hoping that he was going to tell them, you're going to get a fine for doing this, period. But apparently they showed up, and he said, I'm going to be nice to you, leave now, and you get no fine. And apparently the guy said, okay. And then he grabbed his surfboard and headed down to the beach. and I saw the ranger saying, cornered them as they were going down to the beach, saying, "Look, I told you, leave now, and you had an opportunity. I was trying to be nice to you, and you wouldn't leave." So the ranger gave him a ticket, and that ticket was $400. So basically their stupidity, he was like going on and on. He was making excuses for why he was going to the beach. He said he was going to get his truck, and what are you talking about? You don't have a truck, and you got a surfboard in your hand, and you're about to go down the trail to the beach. You know, so he was big lie. And then he said, it's my friend's birthday. Like, oh, give me a break, it's my friend's birthday. What does that have to do with anything? So anyway, that was enough of that. So we figured it'd take a while for them to pack up, but apparently the ranger must have said, "Get out now, quickly. If you're still," I'm assuming he said something like, "If you're still here in an hour, I'm going to arrest you," or something. So before we headed back to our assigned campsite, which we had not dropped anything really except some wood, we saw that they were packing up, so we went and said, "Can we just take the site we wanted?" And they said sure. So we moved in, and it was dark. I mean, that was annoying that we had to set up in the dark when we were here for actually the first time in a campsite in the daytime, so we could have set up. I think it was the first time. Anyway, so we got the site, and it was beautiful. It was worth all the effort to get the site. It was a beautiful place. It's kind of enclosed. Let me show around real quick. Just do a quick panorama. This is the campsite here, and I was back over there behind. I had my tent, I was back there. I've been sleeping on the ground. Yeah, that's my blanket. I got a king-size blanket back there. So let's reset up the frame here. Back to Caroline there. She's been traveling with us since we picked her up in Chico. Great grandmother Caroline A. Foster Green. And I've lately been thinking about how do I shorten, because calling her great great grandma is long, and just calling her grandma seems inadequate. So I was thinking about Gravity Falls, where their granduncle is called Grunkle. Grunkle Stan for granduncle, Grunkle. So, or great uncle, it works the same way. So I'm thinking I'm going to call her grandma, two grandmas. So that's grandma Caroline. So we should be in Salinas probably tonight. We always take longer than we think we're going to, so I'm anticipating it'll be after dark, and then the puppies will jump on me, and tomorrow I'll probably go out and do things. Go to San Francisco and pick up my kitty, who's being kitty sat. Kansu Mao Cat is my kitty cat. So I'll pick him up tomorrow. Tonight I will probably be in bed covered with dogs and maybe a cat. Maybe Apophis will come in and join the pile. So yesterday was mostly traveling. We really didn't do much other than we left the Holiday Inn in Medford fairly late, I think about 10 or 11, and it was a longer drive than I thought it was going to be. And it's a good thing we left Medford when it was, because the temperature is supposed to be about 102 yesterday, and it's supposed to be about 103 today. So it's very hot. I didn't expect that from Medford. So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're on our way south. And beautiful campsite. We can see the Milky Way overhead. I showed Joel, gave Joel some astronomy lessons about the giant dust clouds in space. And I could ramble on, but more to come, but for now, that's all.